Radio Bypass, bringing you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Discover new bands. Here's some old favorites on Radio Bypass.
Hey guys, today on Radio Bypass, we're joined by a band that's been cranking out the rock for quite some time, but relatively new on my radar. And hopefully you guys have caught when we've played their music on the music show recently. They just had a new album out last month. It's called Dirty and Bad, and I'm so happy to be joined by a band called Spider Rockets. How you doing, guys?
How are you?
Good to be on with you.
Oh, good to have you. I was so excited when I heard your first single. In fact, I think as soon as I received it, I played it on the very next weekly show that we do because I thought it was so good. And pretty much since May, I really haven't stopped listening, pretty regularly to your latest album, Dirty and Bad, which we'll definitely get into. But I came to find out, reading up on you guys, because I was so excited by what I heard, that you guys have been cranking it out for a while. You're East Coast based. I'm on the West Coast, used to be in the Midwest. And somehow I've missed you all these years, but I'm so glad that I found you. So I'd love to hear the story of the Spider Rockets, how long you guys have been at it and what brought you together and what keeps you going.
All right. Well, we started as a duo, believe it or not, me and him. And we were kind of playing all kinds of bars and dives in New Jersey to start. And we started writing our own music too. And we were incorporating all our music in the set. And then we expanded to a full band. We met up with this guy right here.
I want you to introduce this guy.
And this guy is, I call him Metal, but his name is Dan. Dan.
Nice to meet you, Dan. Yeah.
But and we started putting out albums, and we're the underdog, man. We are the typical underdog. We're the ones that like grind, in the background and keep on doing our thing. We love what we do. We've been putting out albums for a while now, and this is our sixth one. And we're really excited about this because we're always excited about the next album, but this one is just like super exciting just because we feel like we did such a good job on it. We worked so hard on it, and we feel like the songs are so strong, and they kind of like talk to people, they people react to them in a very positive way. So
Yeah,
which
as
is
they
exciting
should.
to us, of course. And, and that's one of the big reasons why we do that is to, hopefully touch people with our music. Well, not
Right.
that we touch people, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, I do. I do. Well, you did me. I mean, from the lead-off track, "Dirty and Bad," to the end. Welcome to the show. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it's killer stuff. And then as I was researching a little bit, a couple of the songs on the new album, they've been around for a little bit. They were released as singles a bit ago, but you kept them around for this full package. So that made me wonder, have all these songs been in the works for a while, or did this come in a pretty short period of time, the majority of the songs?
So we did this recording a little bit differently, and albums are so funny now, and we wanted to give it a lot of room to kind of hang out there in the public. So our thought is as we were recording, to put out the singles that we thought were the strongest as videos right away. So that's what happened. Our first video was Casual Violence, and that's one of the songs on the album. And that really
Right.
did fantastically on YouTube. Like we got a lot of views on YouTube for that video. But it also that was the idea. It was like, all right, let's put this out. And then we put out Monster of Your Dreams also the same way. And then we recorded the rest of the album and wrote and recorded the rest of the album. We essentially did the album in two pieces. So we did 4 songs at a studio in Pennsylvania, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Soundmind Recording Studio. Dan Malsh, who was a producer at that studio. Also has worked with Ghost, Avenged Sevenfold, Fuel, a bunch of other bands. Fantastic. He does fantastic work. And we recorded 4 of the songs at that time with him. And we kind of sat back and we were like, all right, let's prepare the rest of the songs because we hadn't written the rest of the songs yet. Like we were in the works with them, but they weren't completed at that point yet. But we wanted to kind of like start something because instead of doing things in one big blob together and you're like, oh, wait a second, I should have done this, or we should have done this, or maybe we should have included this type of song in it too. We kind of sat back and we listened to what we had recorded and we said, all right, which direction do we want to go for the rest of the songs on the rest of the album? So we finished recording, finished pre-production, and we actually worked with a gentleman in the Midwest from where you're from.
Right.
Actually, Minneapolis, though. He was from Minneapolis, though.
Close
So
enough to where I'm from.
yeah, yeah. So Bryn Aarons, who is in a band called Flip, who we knew through our manager. And he actually kind of worked on the pre-production for some of the songs too. And he was like, all right, let's do this, like move this part over here, add another verse here, extend the chorus, things like that. So, but just really good things that worked really well for the song. And he had a great ear for like what needed to happen in the music. So we worked with him on some of the songs, recorded the rest, but instead of going back to Pennsylvania, because our friend Dan Malsh was crazy busy because he was working with the big guns, he was working with Ghost, he was working with Avenged Sevenfold and everything, and he didn't have time for us. So we went to New Jersey, which is where we're from, and we went, instead of a fancy ass studio, which is what Dan Melch had, we went down and dirty. We went dirty Jersey all the way on this. So the last 6 songs were like in this industrial complex in New Jersey with a gentleman by the name of Ben Karras, who produced the rest of the album. And he did a fantastic job too. Oh my God.
One room studio. So by looking at it, you can think it's you, but he does a fantastic.
But we just like freaking
You laid down drum tracks and
there. So I actually knew him before because I worked with him before. And he's flawless when it comes to production too. Just like Daniel Malsh he's amazing at what he does. So both are great. But you would think because visually, Ben's studio, it was just a one room where he had a setup. So it's not a fancy, multi-million-dollar looking studio, just one room. But honestly, the sonically and the recordings, you would think it was, you can never tell where it was done.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, it is amazing the results you can get sometimes, even with just like I have a Universal Apollo thing here. Sometimes it is kind of amazing. But
the biggest thing is the mixing and mastering, because honestly, if you have perfected tracks, I think if you send them, whoever you send them to mix it, the mixing engineer is a huge thing because that's sonically different effects. Whether it's reverbs or sampling, resampling of stuff, because especially in modern music, it's a lot of it is the way drums are processed now is like everything's resampled, blended in, and guitar is a lot of direct stuff.
This is the drummer speaking.
I'm the drummer
speaking.
Yeah, so I could go talk about that, but it's just a different totally different element. It's amazing with recording now.
Yeah, no, that is. But when you mention one room, I'm picturing a lot of times you need a separate room for the drum tracks. To get to get that kind of sound out of them. But your drums sound great on this. Clearly, a one-room studio is fine.
All mics didn't use triggers on it, like all microphones, and it's just amazing. Like he just knows how to get the proper bleed from everything, the overheads, and
right.
I mean, we're very lucky that both producers we work with are,
we're
great.
just really fantastic. Both of them just were on top of their game.
Was this your first time working with each of them, or are some of your previous releases done with these folks too?
Daniel Malsh was multiple times. We actually our one album we did, he had an older studio, and at the time he was building his new studio, which we currently have been working in. So now he's got multiple complexes on one property that it's amazing. Like his whole setup, Soundmind recording. And then Ben, I've worked with just different sessions and stuff like that before. So I recommended him when Daniel couldn't do our when he was just booked up. He wanted
Right.
to record sooner. I said, I know this guy named Ben. I said I worked with him before, and he just does an amazing job. So, and then they found out, you guys were very happy
Yeah,
with
yeah,
recording with
it
him.
was fantastic. And then we had it mixed with Zach Ziskin in Florida,
Yeah.
actually. And Zach has mixed some of our previous albums too. So and Zach does a fantastic job, a fantastic ear. Oh my God, yeah. So we have a great team around us that and we're
Roman.
Oh, of
Oh,
course,
nice.
Roman, our manager, who always has his input too, and always has some really good ideas and some good kind of sound advice for us too. So, yeah, we just are lucky and happy that we have a good team around us.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say you got the team, but essentially you're still independent, though. I mean,
Yeah.
this
No, we're
release,
not independent.
no?
We are actually on Fire Rock Music Group, which
Okay.
is a label out of New York State. So,
They just picked up this.
yeah, they picked up this album and
Oh,
they're
good.
super excited to have it and stuff. And they're actually have been really supportive of us as well. So we're grateful for them. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I thought you were doing all this yourself because I guess I didn't read this closely enough to realize that that's maybe another company and not just you guys yourselves.
Yeah, we hooked up with him with Fire Rock and their team over there. We started the conversation about a year ago, honestly. Year ago, more than a year ago now. And we were talking about finishing up the album and what we wanted and they were talking about what they could do and how they can help. And it's been really great to have them on board with this and so enthusiastic too, because they really love the album and we're so glad to have them kind of working it on their end as well too. So, which is how we met you actually through through them. So,
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, I'm glad that all came together for you guys. So this record then was your first for this Fire Rock
Yeah.
Entertainment
yes,
working with
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Would you say, since I also have not gotten to hear your earlier stuff, which I
Mhm.
hope to do sometime, but I still am digesting this new record because I really love it. Um, but would you say this record captures you guys? Do you think this is like the definitive Spider Rockets record? Do you feel that this is, really defines what your band's all about more than maybe other releases have?
I always find music, and as you're creating music, you're in a different place in your kind of life or in your mind sometimes. So I think all of them kind of define us at different times.
Yeah.
I think this one defines us right now, and is like a perfect definition of spider rockets at this moment.
Mhm.
Um, and but I think that each one of them kind of like you could see the kind of progress and the kind of like as you move along through the albums and stuff too. So you can kind of see how we ended up here from listening to the previous albums.
Yeah, that's fair. And what about the name Spider Rockets? How did that become your band name?
So we had a name Spider Monkeys, which we started with when we had the duo. And there was a band in Florida who owned the name Spider Monkey. And I don't know how they heard about us, but we got a letter from them, a very like official, like cease and desist letter, stop using our name. And we're like, oh crap, so we stopped using their name and we had to find another name. And Johnny right here actually said, what about Spider Rockets? And I was like, you know what, that kind of fits us better anyway. So we went that way instead, and then we made sure that we owned the name and everything too. So we couldn't run into that problem in the future. Although,
Right.
it's different enough that I don't imagine people going, I think we're going to pick that name.
Right.
Well, you never know. Sometimes band names are kind of random. You just suddenly have a thought and like, oh, okay, that sounds kind of cool. Because
Yeah.
it's not easy to name a band. It's hard to come up with names.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
So, oh, that's cool. All right. So What would you say if somebody's hearing about Spider Rackets right now, this is their first time, what would you say, like, what are your guys' influences? What would you say your band is about? And, how would you define your band?
I'd say, I mean, for our sound, we're a riff-driven modern rock band with a classic twist. That being said, some of our influences, and we're talking about four people here, so it's not just one
Yep.
person. So,
A lot.
AC/DC, Godsmack, Metallica, Judas Priest, Avenged Sevenfold, Shinedown, Volbeat, The Offspring, Green Day. So it's like kind of across a bunch of things, right?
All
But
right.
we definitely have our each of us have our passions and and different kind of like favorite bands and that sort of a thing, but that kind of gives you an idea of what we're where we pull from.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know I read something about a comparison to Hailstorm or something,
Mm.
um, which I guess I can see, but I hear more of what you just said.
Yeah, I think that comparison is probably just because of the female fronted thing.
Hmm.
Although Hailstorm is amazing, I don't think we really sound like them so
No, I
much.
don't think so either. And that's the other thing that's interesting in today's music, you being a female lead singer of a harder rock band. Yeah, there seems to be a little more of that nowadays than there was
Yeah,
when I was young
yeah.
too, as far as the hard rock. I mean, obviously there's
Hmm.
always been
Yeah.
female rock singers, but in this style, I feel like right now there's more female fronted ones than ever. It seems like to me.
Yeah, there are a lot, and in all honesty, we kind of straddle between rock and hard rock a lot. So it's we don't have a lot of the growly vocals, but we do get a lot of like the riffs and the drumming and stuff like that are metal influence. So we have a lot of that kind of going in there too, and then the punk influence too. So we have a lot of different things coming in, but it's we straddle the thing between rock and hard rock.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I love it, you guys. So let's talk a little bit more about the record. Dirty and Bad Guys is
Yeah.
the
mhm.
current record. I know I got bad lighting in here because I don't have a cool video studio, but this album, I highly recommend everybody check this out. And you can also learn more about these guys at spiderrockets.com. Um, but let's talk a little bit. So, Dirty and Bad is, I think that was the first one that I had heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one. So that leads the record off, which is cool. Monster of Your Dreams, I've played that on the show before. That's cool. But Casual Violence, I did want to ask about that song. I didn't know until recently that was had been a single before. So so I thought it's brand new with this record. What was the thought behind that record or that song? What was the inspiration in writing that?
Casual violence is interesting because it's, and that's a really good question. Um, is basically it's about when people are, and it's hard to say, but it's there is violence. There's the outright violence where it's like somebody slapping or hitting or punching or kicking or whatever, or like things being blown up and stuff. And then there's this kind of casual violence, right? The casual violence, kind of like a backhanded insult or like a or somebody just like kicking somebody's foot out from underneath them or something, just something that is
Or
like
mental abuse,
more
maybe?
right, mental abuse, all of that stuff like rolls into that, and it's not in your face so much, but it is there, and
Mhm.
kind of it's it's kind of like a creeping or like almost like a snake in the grass, it's there and it's dangerous, but it's not right there, and that's what the song is really about. It's about this kind of like insipid kind of like meanness, evil, negativity that kind of permeates like personal relationships or whatever, and that we're none of us are immune to it. We're all, and none of us are immune to dishing it out either. So it goes both
True.
ways, right? So like, oh yeah, I'm a super nice guy, right? Or I'm a super nice person, but you do shitty things sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like, even as a super awesome person that you think you are, yeah, maybe like you aren't so perfect or whatever. So,
True. True. You
and
have to
that's what
remind
casual
yourself
violence.
sometimes of how you should be, right? How you should
Yeah,
conduct
right,
yourself.
right. And it's
Yeah.
like, and then be critical of other people, and then wait, what did I just do yesterday, or or the other out last, like a half an hour ago to this person, or yelling at my dog or something, or and it's so nobody's immune, and that's what casual violence is about.
Gotcha, gotcha. Because that was when I listened to the whole record, that was one that stood out to me that I really liked a lot. Um, and then the other song that I wanted to ask about is "Sucker." I really I really like that one.
Yeah, it's again uh, uh, the evil part of each person, right? Yeah, so I was thinking about the nasty part of myself when I was writing the lyrics for that one. It just, yep, yeah. Sometimes I can, it just again, you could be awesome sometimes, and then you could be really, really crappy sometimes too. And that's kind of pointing the finger and saying, all right, I could be a sucker. Hey, you're my sucker. you know.
Okay. Well, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, those were the ones that I definitely want to make sure I asked you guys about, because some of it, kind of speaks for itself. What it is. Rock your ass off, for example.
Yeah.
What you guys do.
Ah.
Uh, okay. What else should we know? Yeah, I'm trying to think because I'm looking at this as an education for myself as well as anybody that checks this out. Just because I am so excited by this record, what else should we know about Spider Rockets?
Well, we have a bunch of videos out there, so I would say like definitely check out the videos. We have a video that for a song that was picked up by the WWE, um, and the song was
Going down.
Going Down. And
Not Jeff Beck's going down.
no, no, no. This is Spider Rockets Going Down. And the song was actually picked up by the WWE and used as an entrance song and a victory song for their wrestler Charlotte Flair for a while. And so whenever she came out, they played the song. And then whenever she won her match, they played the song. So we got a lot of like wrestling fans on board because of that, which was bizarre because, who would have thunk, but yeah, so that's a cool video. And I would just say go through the videos because a lot of them are kind of like, we try to make each one kind of unique and interesting. We have Sick, which is a lyric video, and it's kind of done in a kind of cool way. And we have Break, which is kind of also a lyric video, but it's done with kind of old-timey kind of pulp fiction imagery, which
Okay.
is from like the old pulp magazines and books and stuff back in the day, and like from the 20s, 30s, 40s and stuff, where those used to be like, you can get these magazines and these books for really, really cheap, and a lot of them would be cartoons or whatever, or like kind of these very kind of dramatic kind of things, but they would be sold on these super cheap paper, which is why it was pulp, right? So
Right.
this, and they'd have artists do the artwork on these, and it was always this kind of very dramatic, like artwork on the front, and that kind of brought you in to pick up the book or the magazine or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And that video, the one for Break, features a lot of that, the pulp fiction kind of imagery and stuff too.
Animated one. They're pretty hard at.
And then we have an animated one. It's kind of like an anime style, a little bit like a version of anime for Rip Your Heart Out, which is really, really kind of cool. We enjoyed that a lot. And that one actually won a bunch of um, music film video awards, like all over the world and stuff. So I
Nice.
think it won like 6 awards or something, like top music video from all these different film festivals and stuff, which was kind of cool. So yeah, so we have a lot of music videos that will introduce you to our music over the years, right?
Yep.
So,
That's
and
really cool.
that's,
I will check those out. I never watch videos. I always tell everybody I like to, when I'm listening to music, I like to just listen to it
yeah, yeah.
and decide what the song, how it speaks to me.
Yep.
So videos always come later for me. I don't like watching them right away. I like to soak up the music first without any imagery. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I create my own imagery and then I can go see what
And then you could
somebody
go and see
else's
like
is.
what the other thing is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually, so we do have all of the songs and music are on all of the streaming platforms. So you can find us on Apple Music, you can find us Amazon, Rhapsody. All of our music is across all the streaming platforms, as well as YouTube too. So it's always easy to find our stuff. And the best way to do it is probably go to our website first, and then you could just click and hit, you know, find whatever you want to find and stuff too. And if you love the artwork, which the artwork for Dirty and Bad is kind of unique and cool. It was actually done by a gentleman and I think it's Colombia. I could be wrong here, but Brian Morales created the artwork for it with the direction of our manager Roman Fernandez. And it is exceptional. So if you actually want to pick up an album, a CD, you can do that through our website as well. And you
Awesome.
just click on the link and you can purchase an actual CD and have it for
Yeah.
yourself to enjoy.
And it's very nice. Besides that cool looking, if I can get it in the right spot, even the disc itself, if you can see that, is pretty fancy. Very, very nicely done, you guys. And I love this. I still like the physical stuff. So
I think a lot of people do. I think, I mean, that's why a lot of, people are still are buying physical products, even like vinyl,
Yeah.
yeah,
vinyl's,
vinyl's had a nice little resurgence. I mean,
yeah, yeah. So, and
including
that's like,
myself.
that's harder to maintain than a CD because vinyl, you have to be careful and stuff about warping it and scratching it and everything. So,
Right. But which I am worried about some of my albums, how they survived my move from Chicago to Sacramento because we didn't have a place to live when we first had to come out here. And
yeah.
these albums were in, I believe, a pretty hot space for some
Yeah.
time. And they're all in my house, but I haven't pulled out some of my old ones that I love because I'm afraid I'm going to get depressed. That I'm going to see that they are warped.
Sacramento gets hot too. Sacramento can get hot.
Yeah. Oh, it gets very hot. Yeah. Yeah.
Landlocked.
We haven't had triple digits yet, but soon we will have triple
We
digits.
did in Jersey today, man.
Yeah, over 100 degrees.
Yeah, Chicago too has been very hot the last few days. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hit 100 and a feel like temperature of 107 here in New Jersey today.
What part of Jersey are you guys from?
We're from the Bay Shore area, which is the beginning of the Jersey Shore. So it's the
Okay,
very beginning of the Jersey Shore, the northern part.
gotcha. Okay, which my mother-in-law lives in New Jersey as well.
Where does she live?
Turnersville is the town.
Hmm. Is
It's
that south, guys?
pretty close to Philadelphia.
Yeah, south.
Not too
Yes.
far from Philadelphia. But she loves going to Cape May. That is her favorite
Oh
place.
yeah. Oh yeah, that is actually very scenic and pretty there.
Yeah, I went once when I went to visit her. I'm like, she's like, we got to go to Cape May. I'm like, all right, let me see what Cape May is because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's nice there. You know, that
Yeah.
boardwalk and all that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. We
Yeah,
have a lot of that going on in Jersey,
Yeah.
especially where we're from. We have a
yeah,
lot of boardwalks
Yeah.
and yeah, beach fronts and
Yeah.
all that
He's,
stuff. And I
right.
imagine a lot of people are at the beach today. We're not because some of us are vampires and don't like going to the beach
I could understand that. You know,
only at night.
this house that we're in has a pool in the backyard, but do I ever use it? Not really. I'm in this room most of the time. My wife gets some use out of it, but I'm not in it really ever. So I'm the same way. I can understand.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So one just last thing before we go. So for each one of you and your respective instruments. So I guess we'll start to my left with drums.
Yep.
Favorite drummer.
Yep. Oh, favorite drummer.
Favorite
Right
drummer.
now, I like Mike Mangini.
Mac Mangini.
Yeah.
That's a good choice, solid choice. And then we didn't get introduced to this young man with the cool hat.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm AJ, the bass player.
Okay, so favorite bassist.
Oh, this is a tough one. Picking one.
One only.
Uh,
And it could be, in your favorites, because like I have trouble when I'm naming guitar players. So they're kind of like my top 10 are sort of all like number one. So,
okay. Well, I'm gonna go with three if that's right, because they're probably the most influential to me. Uh, Definitely Matt Freeman from Rancid, Brian Keeneland from the Bouncing Souls, and Duff McKagan, Guns N' Roses, without a
interesting.
doubt.
Interesting. Those are not ones I hear very often from musicians. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Singers?
Singers. Oh, and I'm not going to have one. I'm not going to have three. I'm going to have like 10. And the 10 is actually just like touching on, kind of because there's more than that. So let's start with I think Janis Joplin, Ann Wilson, Amy Winehouse, Lady Gaga, Rob Halford, Corey Taylor, and Etta James. And that's just skimming the surface a little bit.
Yeah, I understand, but I did not hear my number one pick, who's from your neck of the woods, not
Tell
New
me.
Jersey, but Steven Tyler.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. And that would be again if I can just keep on rattling on forever, and I would rattle on forever, and he would be included there because he's pretty amazing.
All right, and then guitar.
Ah, same like her. There's so many. I seem to go through phases where I listen to a bunch of one style of music. Like I'll listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan until I'm practically tired of it. Then I'll move on to one of my other favorites, Kiss, and I'll listen to Ace Frehley. Then, gosh, Godsmack. Actually I like how Sully, even though he's not the lead guitar player, but I enjoy how he plays. Tony Rambola from the band's also very good. Well, so I listen to so much music. Blues players, I like to listen sometimes to some of the old blues from B.B. King to, gosh, Howlin' Wolf. I love
Muddy
hearing,
Waters, hopefully, is in there.
yeah, to hear how the old stuff was recorded. I don't know, it's just amazing. Even some of the Beatles, even I can't say I'm the biggest Beatle fan, but I can't not deny how they put the guitar together when amps were not so distorted and they
Right.
made harmonies so there's just so much talent out there. It's really even hard to pick anymore.
Yeah.
Once you
Yeah, I agree. My top 10 guitar list that I maintained for a long time, I sort of gave up on because there's just too many that I just love equally. Except for Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck, for me, he's his own thing, so he's kind of like always number one. Um, but the rest of my top 10 that I had for many years, I'm like, I give up on having this because there's just so many great guys, and I
I
love
forgot
Eddie
Jimmy
Van
Page,
Halen,
Oh yeah, you
Randy
yeah.
Jim
Rhodes,
Van
but
Halen.
then, guys that are a little more recent. I also love Doug Aldrich, uh, Mitch Perry, and another older guy, Pat Travers. So it's like, I can't Gary Moore. So it's like, I can't just pick like, really, because I love them all equally.
Yeah, and yeah,
And it's so cool because when you hear new stuff that you haven't been turned on to before, and you're like, holy crap,
yeah, yeah.
how amazing is that? Like, and it could be like just, it could be one little aspect of it. Like there's um Brent from Shinedown. Love the way that guy manages to do the vocals. First of all, his vocals are really accessible to me. But and he wasn't on my list, but he should be on the list too. But the way he does rhythm, like rhythm within the vocals, like his vocal lines, like they're
Mhm.
very rhythmic but very distinct kind of from each song is very distinct. It's not always like the same kind of flow. It's always cool and kind of catchy in its own way, just the rhythm by itself. So it's like it's really interesting how you could sometimes hone in on one thing and you're like, ooh, that is super, super cool the way they do that, you know?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I love listening to stuff repeatedly too, because you pick up on different things. Your
Yeah. Yeah.
focus kind of changes, like I'll sometimes hear like a little teeny weeny guitar flourish or something that I like, did I remember hearing this before? That really
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
cool today. And the same with vocals. Like you say, sometimes just a little teeny phrasing thing or something that you didn't really catch on a previous listen or whatever, and all of a sudden it hits you a certain way, like, wow, that was really cool, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming here. What I always like to do with these chats, as I call them, because I don't make them formal, I don't write stuff down, I don't prepare a bunch of pre-canned questions because I like it to just be a conversation, you know, some friends sitting around talking rock and roll. That's what I'm into. But what I always like to do with these at the end is to add whatever the current song is or current record is for whoever I'm speaking with. So in your case, it's obviously the Dirty and Bad album. So I'd like to ask you to pick a track that I should add at the end of our chat here. You get your guys' choice.
All right.
Do we each pick a track or do we pick one collectively?
I don't know if I'll have enough time to put four of them into the mix. So maybe we can come to I could do two probably if you can come to a consensus on two, maybe.
I say we start with Dirty and Bad,
Okay.
just because I'm bossy as anything. And then I say Casual Violence.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's good pitch.
Wow, you guys came to a quick consensus. Okay, hold on.
I looped everybody in with me.
Title track and Casual Violence. It's a perfect mix.
All right, I'm writing this down. So, all right, so we're going to do, all right, so Dirty and Bad, Casual Violence. We have consensus.
Yep.
I like the democracy here. Okay, cool. So that is what we will do then. So everybody that's checking us out, we've been talking with the band Spider Rockets here. If you guys are not familiar with them, get familiar with them. Go to spiderrockets.com. Get yourself a copy of this record. And trust me, I know you guys that check this show out every week, you like what I play because you tell me so. And I don't play anything I don't like, as you also know. And I love this. I know you will too. So be sure to check them out. Follow them on social media as well. No tour dates at the moment. No live shows booked at this moment, but
we are working on that.
I know you'll have them and you'll keep everybody updated. And
we want to get on the road, so
too.
we are working hard on that. We're hustling. We're hustling.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So coming sometime to a city near you,
yeah,
will be the Spider Rockets. But guys, really great talking with you today. I really appreciate you guys taking some time for Radio Bypass. Just an absolute pleasure to meet you all and to hear your music. And I can't wait to dig further back into your catalog as well.
Ralph, thank you so much for having us.
Great.
And we thank you so much for your support as well.
Yeah.
That means the world to us. So thank you.
My pleasure. You're very welcome. All right, everybody. So we're going to do it in the order we just discussed. Don't go anywhere. Turn it up just a little bit louder now because we're going to blast out Dirty and Bad from the Spider Rockets.
Let's get real dirty, we'll make it real bad. Let's get so dirty that we just can't make it back. Let's get real dirty, we'll make it real bad. Let's get real dirty. I never thought I'd be right here, but here we are again. Yeah, it's been a lifetime since I to